Number 27, Deputy Darragh O'Brien, 30 seconds.
Minister, you'll know I've been very critical of the EU-Turkey arrangement and the move towards further third-party arrangements between the EU and other countries. And specifically with that in mind, I want to ask you, as Minister for Foreign Affairs and Trade, your views on the proposed EU-Libya migration deal, if you have concerns about the condition in Libya and its ability to provide a secure and safe haven for refugees, and if you can tell us here today, does our government support this further third country arrangement with Libya, which has been described by human rights bodies as in the midst of a human rights crisis itself? Thank you.
Minister.
The migration crisis by adopting a range of measures, including engaging with countries of origin and transit to address the root causes of migration. The focus of recent months has been migration on the central Mediterranean route, with Libya representing the main country of departure. Most recently, this was the subject of discussions at an informal European Council held in Malta on the 3rd of February 2016 and at the Foreign Affairs Council on the 6th of February, where comprehensive conclusions were adopted. At the informal European Council meeting, a declaration was issued outlining the European Union's commitment to assist Libya, including through capacity building. The declaration indicates that priority will be given to supporting the Libyan National Coast Guard, enhancing operational action on the route, supporting the development of local communities in Libya, ensuring adequate reception capacities and conditions for migrants, supporting IOM in stepping up assisted voluntary return activities, and enhancing information campaigns and outreach addressed at migrants in Libya and other countries of origin and transit. Priority will also be given to reducing pressure on Libya's land border, including through enhanced border management capacity, monitoring of alternative routes and possible diversion of smugglers' activities, supporting initiatives by Member States directly engaged with Libya, and deepening dialogue and cooperation with neighbouring countries. At the Foreign Affairs Council on the 6th of February last, the EU committed to doing its utmost to assist the stabilisation process in Libya. We reaffirmed the commitment on the part of the European Union to an inclusive political settlement under the framework of the Libyan political agreement, and we reaffirmed the support of the European Union to the United Nations Support Mission in Libya and to the UN Special Representative of the Secretary-General, Martin Kobler. The EU is currently implementing a cooperation package worth €120 million, focused on civil society, governance, health, youth, education, migration, security and mediation. The EU has also increased its humanitarian aid, worth €10.8 million in 2016.
Deputy O'Brien.
Minister, I just want to ask, is there a proposed EU-Libya migration deal on the table? Are the measures that have been announced by way of the Malta Declaration, are they simply measures of stemming the tide, or are they real measures of assistance? Médecins Sans Frontières, and I quote, following the Malta Declaration on the Central Mediterranean, the European Council is delusional about just how dangerous the situation in Libya really is, and the declaration is yet more evidence that EU leaders' only aim is stemming the flow. So I just really want to know, are we moving towards an arrangement that is a carbon copy of the EU-Turkey arrangement? So we're not talking about forcibly sending refugees back in boats to Tripoli, effectively into Libya, and housing them in camps in Libya. So I take it that we're not agreeing with that. And once I have clarification on that, that's fine, because I've said before, I don't think our government should be supporting third country arrangements, or at the very least we should be debating them in full here before assent is given by the Dáil to enter into these arrangements.
In our commitment to an inclusive political settlement in Libya, the situation is very challenging. The situation is very unstable. And it's important that we work together at EU level and indeed with the wider international community to ensure that we can bring about a political settlement. And that, of course, is under the framework of the Libyan political agreement. The European Union has reaffirmed its support to the United Nations support mission in Libya. I want to see political stability in Libya. But in the meantime, the European Union offers help and assistance in the form of a cooperation package focused on civil society, focused on assisting. And of course the focus of any arrangement or any assistance to Libya must by definition deal with the transit of persons and migration.
I suppose Libya is an example of how disastrous at times Western intervention can be in other countries, that we have an ungovernable country with a government that has very little control over vast swathes of Libya itself. Just to ask again, Minister, I'm not sure from your answer, is the EU moving towards a formal EU-Libya migration deal that will involve turning people away from EU countries and resettling them back in their country of origin, i.e. Libya in this instance? If we're not, fine. If we are, we need to know about it, we need to debate it, we need to see the terms of it. I think so that's what I really wanted to get to the nub of. I know we want to assist Libya and the Libyan people, of course we do. I know the EU wants to do that also. But is that just a disguise for stemming the flow of refugees into Europe and into southern Europe in particular? So I just want to hear definitively today whether there's a deal on the table. If there's not, fine. If there is, do we support it or not?
Yeah. I think the important thing is that the European Union continues to engage. We have already committed certain funds on the matter of capacity building. That will continue, and its advancement will be dependent on the political situation in Libya, which is under ongoing review. But the Deputy's concern is in relation to the migration situation. And I think it's important to recognise the fact that in 2016 alone, 181 irregular migrants were detected on the central Mediterranean route, the vast majority of whom reached Italy. Italy reported an 18% increase in arrivals compared to 17. This is a very challenging issue, and it's important to note that the vast majority of these migrants are unlikely to meet the criteria allowing them to qualify for refugee status. But I think in the first instance we should look towards achieving political stability in Libya. And of course I wish very briefly to acknowledge, however briefly my acknowledgement might be, very important to acknowledge the great role of the Irish naval services in the Mediterranean region, with particular reference to tens of thousands of migrants whose lives have been saved by dint of Irish intervention.
Second.